I frankly like it better upstairs. These chairs are wonderful, but all those is not bad. I still couldn't find anything to make sense of that. I was looking for that. Yeah.
Okay. All right, I'm going to call the strict session board meeting to order. It's June 7th, 2021. First order of business is to be approved the minutes. Do they have any corrections, additions to that? Having none, motion to accept the minutes of the.
Make a motion.
Second.
Got a second. Any discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All right. Old business. Old business. Old business. Old business. Okay. All right. New business. First one is 641 Central Avenue, moving 2 pine, 3 oak trees. Is that property here?
I'm property owner.
Okay.
Okay, and I got the contract, if you have questions about it.
Absolutely. All right, so we have 2 pines and 3 oaks. And just take us through why you want to remove those trees.
Yeah, so the one pine and the oaks will be right in the building area where the garage is going to go, the garage and drive, right, clear access. The pine in the back middle, with the garage, we were wanting to have a family fire pit, not just a small caved-in pit, but if that's a big issue. I told my wife that's a nice to have, not a necessity like the garage, which I need for my vehicles and also office. So I work from home. And with COVID, we no longer go into the plant if you're in a corporate. And I know when we did the layout with all the restrictions in terms of property line and so forth, this was the best area, unless we went with an attached garage, which at this point, I'd like to just stick with the detached because that's what's in the budget and what we plan for. And also just to make a note, we have to extend this out. The original plan, I think, Harold, was for a lofted garage, but due to pitch requirements or height requirements, we had to go to a standard and to get the office extended to the back part.
So Bill, from your assessment, the pine trees healthy and
Yeah, both pine trees are healthy. One of them is in the footprint or right at the footprint of the building. The other pine tree is in the middle of the backyard where you put the fire pit. That's a healthy place to got a little bit of a lean away from the house. So it's not like it's and it's actually 4 live oaks or 4 oak trees, 3, 4 oaks, 1 live oak. One's over on, you added one after you.
The one has a hole.
Permit, got a hole in it over on the property line. So it's out of the footprint, but it is
close. The ones
it's
right
got a hole in it all the way through the property.
The live oak or the
One of them.
Is there a diagram showing the trees numbered?
No, I didn't think so.
There's a picture with the number.
The pictures I did,
Keep going.
but I didn't go on the diagram.
I think tree 3 is the one at the hollow.
Yes.
From what I remember.
the pine tree where the fire pit is, where you propose being close to, which one's that?
It's
can't
further
see
away.
it.
Number
Can't
6.
see it.
Number 6.
It's to the right of number 5, like directly there it is, yeah, behind the house.
The health of that tree is
Good.
in shape. That's what the board members over there saw.
Yes.
wait until the garage is there and then we can measure and we figure out if there's a safe place for the pit.
So. The board members want to talk about the other trees. I saw the other.
We could go scroll back up where we can see the numbers. And tree number 1, what's the reason for it?
That's the entrance to the garage, the drive plus the root system. That would cut at least, what, about a third into the first bay, the left stall of the garage. No way to back my trailer or truck or boat, anything in there.
I'm glad you have other trees in your yard. And you're
Yeah,
certainly in your
beautiful
front yard.
trees
Yes,
in the front,
that
especially.
counts.
Yeah, we're definitely landscapers. We like to have trees and plants.
So as far as tree 2, 5. 5 you said was.
In the footprint.
Yeah, it'd be the garage.
And number 2.
Right in front of the garage.
Yeah. thank you. So you're the only one who's proposing to leave out that you asked for is the pine tree wood carpet.
Yes, yeah. For something else.
Any comments? More comments from the board on this all?
There's a lot of trees in the front yard. If you notice back by that building, there's also a pine tree just right at the corner of that building there.
And actually, the other ones I own, we put the fence in just so we lost a oak during the last hurricane, took the fence out. So I actually had the fence put in about 3 foot. Because before they had the fence connected to that pines. And so there is some more trees back there that's actually in the front here that doesn't show.
Does anybody want to make a motion?
I'll make a motion that we allow him to remove these trees with the idea of saving that one tree where you talk about the fire pit.
Number 6.
Save that.
1 through 5 would be approved, and number 6 would be denied.
Yes. I second that.
Any discussion? All in favor, say aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion passes.
So you send it from the letter.
Yeah. We get it coming out.
All right, thank you.
All right.
You-
He's stretching it now.
Take care. Get you a food soda.
You too, thank you. All right, next new business is 2029 Shoal Creek Court, removal of 2 pine, 1 gum tree.
Good morning.
Good morning.
I got my neighbor with me, Mr. Black.
Quite a few times, we're not going to go, nobody ever comes.
Really?
Yeah.
I didn't realize that. I didn't realize that.
Stop, ring the doorbell.
I don't know why, but anyway, there are cars in the driveway too.
Sometimes it's one, sometimes it's just 1 car, sometimes it's 3 of them.
I'm not property owner, but the permission from the property owner for me to represent her. If that's important to you.
Everything counts. So you don't actually live there? You don't live?
He lives
Yes,
next door.
he lives next
You are
door.
the
He's,
neighbor. Oh, okay.
Next door.
so
I'm constantly.
So y'all representing the property.
I'm the
Oh.
property owner, yes.
Okay.
And this
Okay.
is his neighbor.
That's my neighbor.
And the gum tree in the front yard is kind of.
Right in between
the
our
both.
2 properties. It's
But anyway,
right on the path that I walk every day. And it's a problem.
well, since we're talking about the gum tree, I guess we'll go ahead and talk about the
That's
gum
tree
tree.
number 1, so.
Okay, okay. It's, you know, We're all-
that tree right.
I got pictures right here, and they got
Yeah.
pictures, they got
We
pictures
got
up there too.
pictures.
So. You know, nowadays, everybody's so safety conscious, and everybody wants to go home from work safe. Everybody wants to stay safe at home. My wife has fallen twice now in the driveway from stepping on those gumballs. Myself, I've about fallen a couple times, but I got bad knees. And it's just creating problems with all those gumballs. And a lot of gumballs fall on his sidewalk, which is next to it. Another thing about that gumball tree, if we get it down, it's gonna make more room for that oak tree that's beside it. That oak tree is being crowded out and not being able to flourish like it should be able to. The gumball just crowding it out, so. But the main reason is safety reasons to get rid of that gumball tree. That's pretty much, you can see pictures here. Gumballs in his sidewalk. They're not bad now, but when they really come down, you can see them in my driveway. So.
But, inject that tree with derelict non-house gumbo.
We feel like we've got good news for you. But there
Well,
are ways
You know,
to solve this.
I just think get it down and give that oak tree more room to grow and everything.
Stopping those gumballs from producing won't stop those roots that I trap on.
It's got some roots going across it.
How close is the tree to your house? Anybody know?
From the wall of my house to the tree is 15 feet.
And it's probably the tree is probably about 8 feet, 8 feet from my driveway.
I would think you have to put on. So that gum tree, anybody want to make a comment before on the gum tree at this point, or wait till we talk about all the trees? Wait till we talk about all the trees.
Okay, we'll wait until we talk about all the trees.
And number 2 is the pine tree in the front, close to the house in the back.
Okay, that pine tree it's a healthy pine tree. It cannot be seen from the front street or the back street because of the woods there. I'm getting ready and I'm signing a contract tomorrow with Clearbrook Pools, put a swimming pool in my backyard. And that tree's got to go because I got to move my swimming pool up that way because that lower part of my yard is in the floodplain.
We didn't have any of this information when we were
I know,
there.
it's just developed, and I'm developing that, and Clearbrook Pools is going to be, entering a pool permit today or tomorrow. Yeah, but, you know, regardless, I just want to let you know about that tree. It's got, with that pool going in and that floodplain and everything, I have my yard, that tree's got to come out.
That tree is in the footprint of the pool?
Ma'am,
That tree is
I
in
mean,
the,
that's not on the plate for today, though, that's.
We can't, yeah,
we
you
can't-
can't.
it's that tree that we were talking about. It's that tree we're gonna talk about.
all right, that's number 2.
Okay.
But if you don't have that plan yet, we can't really act on it.
Okay, but I'm letting you know about it, so when I do get the permit and everything, then we should be able to act on it correctly.
You can come back and we'll talk about it next month.
Okay, well, let's go to the next pine tree then.
So you found a larger thing.
Yeah, that's a damaged tree. It's got a big cat face on it. Yeah, big damage in it and everything. That's got to come down, unless you're gonna create problems in the big storm.
Guessing from the folks that went out there, no one had issue with this tree, based on the, based on the cat face and the. So let's wrap back around to the gum tree. Gumballs, unfortunately, are not something we would approve the tree, and actually cut down many because of balls, they can be raked off or blown off, but I mean, is there, it's asking this for the board, any other conditions based on the tree, around the stem, the distance to the house or driveway, or the mark property owner as far as the help of the oak tree, or that help of the oak tree.
So you can see on one side of that oak tree that there's hardly any limbs whatsoever because the gum tree is blocking it out.
But I'm sure we didn't look at that oak tree out there.
Well, that's not a valid reason for us to make a decision on cutting down.
Well, that's right. I mean, that's just something we
Right.
can.
Well, I've got a picture here showing how it's blocking out that
Sure.
oak tree.
But if you would take the gum out, I mean, if
It'll
If
give that
that's
room
not
for that
gonna
oak tree to grow.
it's not gonna spring back quickly, it will look.
I'm sorry.
It won't look beautiful. When you, if you were to take the gum out, because of the way together they look better. Together they look better. As a-
Yeah, but I
almost a-
disagree with you. I agree with you. They may look better together, but there's future, potential damage to the house and the driveway. There is, health hazards there or safety hazards there with that oak tree. I mean, with that gum tree. So
we-
to
we
me,
tried-
that's good enough reason.
We tried to address the gumballs. Because we were very proud that we discovered that you can have something that will render a gum tree sterile. And so that was good news that we can solve a problem that exists.
Well, let me ask you this, why, I think y'all need to take in consideration gumball trees and pine trees, not trying to step on anybody's toes. But you take the town of Mount Pleasant, they don't declare those as trees. I mean, you can get those cut down in that community. You know, I think we should be kind of going on with our neighbor counties and what they're doing.
We go by the Somerville Town ordinance.
Well, I know that.
We won't be able to pay attention to ours.
Well,
I think we agree. I mean, almost anything like this with continuity to it
Yeah.
is a good thing, but fortunately, the ordinance for the town of Somerville don't reflect
well, you know,
Mount Pleasant or other ones.
well, I understand that. I'm just, you know, I'm just other places doing, I understand why you have a tree policy, but I think there's some discretion, some things that the individual homeowner is penalized by when you let these big people like Dale Horton and all these people come through and just clear cut the land. And no regard to the trees. Look at the entrance to Pine Forest, what's going up there 2 or 3 years ago. They cut all the trees down up there to build those homes.
They did the same thing to build your house.
Huh?
They did the same thing to build your house.
They cut just a few trees down when they built my house. But anyway, I just asked that, the main thing is get that damaged tree down in that gumball tree. That's all. That's what I'm asking.
When we were out there, I did not even look at the oak tree. Do you remember what species it was? What kind of oak tree?
That wasn't one of the things that we needed to.
I know, I didn't even look
address.
at it.
It's not a pin road.
I can't tell.
I
Exactly what it
I don't
is.
know right off the top of my head.
Might be a wall.
That's weird. That's-
Yeah, might be a wall or a willow.
On the, two stems that come together in the gum tree, they included bark, probably that's all as far as, no weakness.
So then again,
Included bark at the point, where the two stems come together in the gum tree, anything that stood out as far as potential issues there.
You have a lot of big limbs hanging over the top of his house. They have ice come down top of his house.
Obviously, you can improve,
Uh,
we can improve the tree, but that's something that happened. I was just trying to see if there was
So
something.
you're
there
taking
that
half
could help.
that tree, you're taking half that tree out of pruning that top, to keep it falling. This way.
it's been there a good while and hadn't fallen yet. This is good news. If we
So,
can't predict storms, we don't ever know what we're going to have. We just don't.
What
No,
can we
no, but
do?
you can prevent the damage some if you do have that storm. by taking action.
What can we do about the roots and the tripping hazard, which is very prevalent? That I can't pick up my legs very high when I walk. I've got two artificial knees. And it's needed, I need to go down that path every day to water my plants, my garden, my flowers. And it is a hazard. It is a serious trip hazard.
Some people might put a bit of a walk through there so that you.
There's a
have
walk through there.
I've got to walk through there.
I'm talking about a little,
Gravel walk with square pavers.
okay, I'm talking about something that's elevated that would get you over those roots and yet allow the tree to
A much,
survive.
a much simpler and permanent solution would be to eliminate that gum tree. And not have to completely re-landscape the entire side of my home.
Or if you end up cutting a bunch of roots out,
That's
to
gonna
take care of that,
damage-
it's gonna kill the tree. It's gonna damage the tree.
Well, I wasn't talking about cutting the roots out.
Huh?
I wasn't talking about cutting the roots out.
Well, I mean, that's an alternative if it's in your sidewalk, it's an alternative to cut the roots.
You can have some root pruning, but not extensive.
Root
And
problems
it
are,
needs to be back away from.
root problems can be a major expense. I've put in an application to your committee twice for two problem trees, pine trees in my front yard. They're horrible looking trees, they just have limbs on one side due to the ice storm. That's neither here nor there at this point. But those two pine trees did cost me almost $7,000 when I had to replace my driveway because of tree roots. So tree roots are a definite problem. I've got a new driveway. How long is that going to last before those pine tree roots come back and destroy my driveway again? And is it going to cost me $7,000 every several years? That's not a good prospect to look for.
Roots are a problem, especially if they get up against the foundations and stuff.
They
of the
do.
house.
When they make, fabrics, you can, you cut the roots and put a fabric down there to keep the roots from going through them. And barricades you can put to stop the roots. They do that
Yeah,
all the
that's
time.
one solution, but you know, the major solution, easiest solution, is just cut the tree.
That's the quickest and most complete solution to the problems that we are trying to address.
Have you found any damage to your foundation yet? Other than tripping issues?
Not that I know of in particular. And it's real close to my garage. There are some cracks in the floor in the garage. I can't say that that's from the gum tree. I can't say that it isn't. It's just 15 feet. I know that the roots go across in several different directions across the path that I have to trot on a daily basis. Sometimes I have to walk through there at night. And it is a problem. I trip.
It's not a problem. It's not only a problem for you, it's a problem for us with all those gun balls that we drop.
These artificial knees keep me from picking my legs up, my feet up high when I walk. I've had them since '03. Certainly lasted me about 10 years, but they're still going good. But I don't want to fall on them.
Hey, you don't have to have artificial knees, just get up at my age and you still have that problem. You can't lift your feet very high.
I'm so past fuel age now.
So far, with your driveway at this point, you're not seeing damage from the trees. Back to seeing anything.
I just think the what cracks, I got them natural cracks right now. But would like y'all to consider letting us take those, at least those two trees down, right down, and I'll get back with you when I get the bill for it. On the other.
I have one other question today, and whoever else wants to chime in, you mentioned about raising up the walkway over the roots. I mean, the root system itself, how high up is it off the ground? Is it low, is it big ones?
It's hard to tell, but they just going all around around tree out.
You know, as a tree protection board, our goal is to exhaust every possibility that we can to save a tree. And so this is part of what we're trying to do now, is to find ways to save a tree, adjustments, compromises, things that we can do to save it, because that's who we are.
Of course.
And we're taxpayers also asking that we have some of this consideration for these type of situations.
It seems that you're considering the trees' well-being more than my well-being, my safety. But that's what I'm understanding.
Well, there's some people that would want us to take down everything, would have nothing higher than grass, and we don't want to go there.
Well, I can understand that. We just, you know, we're talking one tree there. It's gonna let another tree become more healthy and get rid of the hazards that are around our house, and not only potential damage to the houses and the driveways.
Don't want to do mitigation on it.
I mean, that's an option. Again, we're asking all these questions. Trying to get
Understand,
feedback. We're
understand,
trying to, you know, we're
understand.
tasked with following certain guidelines before it is. We don't try to go outside that guideline, of what is allowed to us. So, you know, I'm asking questions. I went there that day and I want to make sure it was something maybe we missed or something, but the mitigation is an option of taking a tree down that we can't find a reason for it to come down based on ordinance, and that requires replanting or painting to a tree bank, which depends on what you have in the property as far as space to plant trees.
And it's-
Bill would have to determine whether that, what that requires.
And it's based on the size of the tree that is removed, is what kind of mitigation that you might be required to come up with.
I do. I do. If you're not gonna let me cut it down, then we need to have that option.
And I'll pull it out.
But again, that's what we try to do, is let you know all the possibilities, the options within our guidelines of the ordinance that we have to go by.
Will those options cure the problems that we're experiencing?
Well, we mentioned the injections that you could get to have this gum tree sterile, so that you would not have the gum balls to deal with, which is, we were excited, I was, to learn that, because we keep on learning
How do you
things.
gonna inject the tree?
We talked to possums about it this past week, and they will tell you exactly how to do it. Exactly.
There's tools to inject in the tree.
Go a little hole in the base of the tree and put a canister in there. It keeps it in the tree and put some of the earth or.
Does it stop the tree from growing?
No,
No.
Gum trees,
stops the gumballs from growing.
it does,
The
but
gumballs.
it doesn't address the other problems. Gum trees have a way as they get older to becoming brittle, the limbs, and when they break. That tree is going out over my house,
I've already,
over my roof,
you can see it right there.
and it's fairly a fast growing type of tree, a gum tree.
You're not seeing the big limbs that are on the top of that.
Yeah.
That hanging out.
And
What's it done?
sterilizing a tree is just, well, only addressing one.
Where do you measure,
Minor
where do you
problem.
measure diameter? Breast height?
Red light.
Breast height?
Yeah, 4.5 feet
Just,
up.
I mean, just-
You've got 15 inches on the diagram. 15
Okay.
inches.
If you were to inject the tree, they said it was 85% effective the first year, and then after that, do it again the next year, and it would expand on that. So you keep on gaining the loss, if you will, of the gum balls.
Well, still got some problems. Not only in the sidewalk, but in that, right as you enter, going up towards that pine tree that's in the yard there.
Your access to your garden is the only access is along that side of the
Yes.
house.
Yes, it is.
I've got access all the way around the house. I've got a walk-through gate on both sides. I still have to maintain that side of the house and go up and down that path pretty much on a daily basis. It's just, I can't think of any real good use for a gum tree. Native Americans used them to make canoes. Native Americans are not using canoes anymore.
And you're not a Native American.
I've got a lot of Native American in me, of course, Cherokee, proud to say. Oh, but the issues that brought us here this morning, they just haven't been resolved by the conversation.
We're trying to let you know the options that are available to us from the ordinance that we have to abide by.
The mitigation is one that you would accept, and also the truth is going to do it based on that mitigation. And that would take care of the issues that you're both talking about. So I guess the decision would be,
Somebody got to put a motion up.
yeah, well, what that mitigation would be based on the tree health, and location stuff. I guess it's on the percentage.
It's a 15-inch tree, so that's only be 50%, right? So that would be 7.5 inches mitigation. So 3, yeah,
Anywhere on my property.
anywhere on your property.
Or if you can't fit the trees on your property, you would pay financially into the tree bank. So
3
It would-
trees, how much is that?
But it depends on what kind of tree you get.
oh, you have to
Yeah.
quote
So
But
what
to
you're
get it-
saying is,
Have one
put
big
in the
enough.
bank, some of them, I have to have 3 trees, I can just have the bank, I can donate 3 trees to the bank.
Okay.
Or the amount of money.
Fun too, right?
That's all basically the same thing.
I'd like to know what that option is too.
You would get a quote from a landscaper to install the trees, like in your yard. And that's the quote that you use to pay the bank.
What if I bought them from the nursery? And I was gonna plant them in my yard, save that. Move from the
If you
landscaper.
Yeah, but the town can't do that. So the town can be hired somebody or they can pay their labor to put it in, so.
And when we allow mitigation, we also follow up on that to make sure that they're still, if we planted, that they're still living after a year, that it's still living.
And you got 6 months, but it's not something you gotta, you would have to plant in the summer if you plant in your yard. Do it mitigation, you have to put in mitigation.
If it were to die, you'd start over. Sorry. But yeah, that's, again, just trying to give you all the information so that you know where we are.
If you know where we are too.
That's the reason we like to have these meetings like this.
Understand that.
I get a motion.
Well, number 2 is going to be put aside. Is that right?
Right.
I'll move that we allow the pine tree that has to be removed and gum trees removed based on accepting mitigation.
I'll second that.
Any more discussion?
See you next month.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
So y'all send me something on the mitigation or
Yep, and I'll be written out on the permit.
appreciate you.
Thank you.
Sure.
Thank you.
Thank you for coming.
I'll be back.
Okay. Okay.
It's coming back next time for.
2 horrible pine trees.
Oh,
One's leaning out over the cul-de-sac, one's leaning over my neighbor's house. And they only have limbs on one side. They're horrible. They're grand
Wow.
in size. not in look.
Look forward to seeing you
All
back.
right, yes, sir.
I love a good
He
debate.
knows how to find fire.
Bring your neighbor with you. Have a good day now.
The next one is the 821 Central Avenue, removal of 2 pine trees. How you
Good
doing?
morning. Good morning. Good morning, Ginger. Margaret, is that you behind that glass? That's me. Oh my gosh, I didn't know you were over that facility. How you doing? I'm fine.
I didn't bring pictures.
We have them.
We got
We
it.
have.
You guys taken care of.
Tell us why you want these pine trees cut down.
Because it's our, we want to, number one, they are on, in our opinion, we want the root system, if we think they're gonna get into the chapel, we have there, the church that we have there. All of the pines on the building, the roofing itself. And we want to extend out. And there is right in the way of where we want to extend the chapel.
You've already worked with the town for permit for extending the chapel.
No, sir, we would have to get that. I think, it was you. Someone.
We all would be on the
Oh,
phone.
okay, someone, okay.
I called. Asking questions.
Asking questions. Yes, sir. You know, it's the older chapel, and I feel like the root system is going to get up under there and the structure is so close. I mean, and it's a big tree. And if I learned some things about mitigations and trees, I didn't know, but we've got plenty of trees. I mean, we can 6, 7 acres of land there. And they're large trees. So we're not, and that tree is going to be removed, but we've got plenty of trees behind it, trees galore.
So that wooded area behind there belongs to y'all also?
7 acres, all of them, we've got plenty of trees behind it to substitute for that. If you will. But we really would like, if you would really consider giving us permission to move that tree so that we can come out. That chapel has been there, property's been there since the 60s. The chapel and other properties since the 50s. And it needs a lot of work done to it. We really want to, we feel like that could be something beneficial for the community because people are always asking us to come and use, but it's got a lot of work that's got to be done. And it's our goal to let's expand now and do some things with that. And we need to mitigate and we want all the options given to us as well.
Well, you don't have the plans yet for the expansion of
No, ma'am, because I didn't know, that
that
was,
you needed to have that in.
yes, ma'am.
And see, it's hard for us to act on removal of something if we don't have that. We need those plans, but
So we couldn't move it otherwise. We won't be able to move it, even though we
we talked about, we can talk about.
We hadn't discussed it.
okay.
We're working on that. We're not quite there.
Okay.
So what's the timing as far as expansion of the chapel? Do you have an idea?
And like I
Is
say,
it a long-term plan or is it?
no, it's a short term. It's not long term. No, sir.
See how we find these things out and ask questions, and that's good.
Yes, ma'am.
Communication is key.
Yes, ma'am.
So your board is that number one to get help, no issues, and nobody on the board saw any problems with that tree while you're out?
It's just so close to the power line. Just very.
The power line coming to the building.
Yeah, no, you can kind of see it.
What about a foot?
And that goes to an overhead?
And see,
And tree number 2 has a bad spot at the base on the back side.
If you were to expand that, they may change their power line, possibly. Might relocate that. I just not thought of that.
we couldn't do it.
Trees can be relocated too.
Well, it's true, yeah. But I mean, I don't know where it's gonna be expanded to.
Right.
And
And
then
then,
where the trees are.
oh, okay.
Even the size of the tree, I respect that tree. So I don't know how much slack it is in the primary.
Well, no, it's fairly low. It's fairly low to the ground.
Yeah.
This, like, why don't we just roll back for it? Swing on it, going to.
Oh, I wasn't
Just
worried
don't-
about
you
it.
want
Don't worry
it
about
right
coming
there.
here.
chew on it while you have it.
So we got plenty of trees in the front. If you had a chance to watch, walk the ground. there's-
And that counts.
Yes, we got plenty of trees. I promise you. Trees come over back there.
I think it's pretty much what we're gonna do. If you conclusion, if you expand in that, the footprint for that tree is going to have plans for that purpose. The tree's healthy, and also number two, based on the table, doesn't sound like it won't be an issue.
Number 2 is not an issue?
It's gonna pass.
So that's what I'm saying.
Well,
It
right.
is coming down,
It'll be approved.
not an issue about it coming
Yeah.
down. We move that we,
Yes, yes.
I was just gonna say, you could always make a motion that once the expansion is submitted, Bill has the authority to approve that tree if it doesn't meet all of the criteria. But it's up to y'all's discretion.
That's good.
that's good.
That's good.
I like that. Thank you, ma'am.
Put it on the table.
How do we arrange that one?
So you're just gonna, so if we don't expand, then you can choose one, right?
One tree. Just the one tree.
With the
Number
understanding-
1, which one will not be? Number one?
Move,
Number
remove
one?
number 2, but wait until we get some, plans with Bill, understanding that he could say, go ahead, and you wouldn't have to come back.
Right, but I'm saying, can we get approval on the one that can be removed?
Yeah, we're
Okay,
trying to
all
vote on
right.
right
Where
now,
we
so
are, but I'm trying, which one you say that possibly can, number 1 or number 2?
Number one, but we're gonna make the motion right now. and explain it to
Okay.
you.
We're gonna make a motion that we, allow tree number 2 to be removed. With the understanding that when the plan comes in for the expansion, that Bill would have the authority to say go with the.
Okay, but it
authorizing
can't be
removal of
moved
number one.
until the plan is in.
Right.
Yeah, number 1,
Okay, that's what I'm
Number
asking.
one.
Right,
Given Bill the
Got it.
authorization.
just to wait.
okay.
To
that's
save you a trip back here.
Right, I appreciate
We're trying to work with you.
it. Thank you, ma'am.
And I'll second that.
We have a second, any more discussion, clear on the motion, right? Okay, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, motion carries. So, we get a permit from the town to contract with.
Okay, appreciate it.
Thank you.
All right, thank you. Also.
Good seeing you.
All right, 119 Mackerel Lane, the removal of one gum tree. Represented here.
No one here.
So, owner wants to install a new fence, tree is in the path of proposed fence line, tree is in great health. So,
Although he said that fence was not his, it was his neighbor's fence.
Yeah, neighbor was going to put the new fence up.
Oh, okay.
We talked about the possibility of them making a little indention in the fence to accommodate this tree, because it's a beautiful tree.
It's a
Big,
nice shade tree. for
Yeah,
that.
and they don't have that many other trees close by, for sure. They got palm trees, which, it doesn't provide any shade
Yeah, a couple Bradford pears,
that are on
cypress.
the way out. He said something about the Bradford pear is going to be removed, and I don't know whether he had a permit for that or not. I thought maybe he might have had an old one, or I don't know, but I did mention that to him.
So the pine trees on the other side of the fence?
Yeah, that's neighbor's pine trees there.
This one just,
It's kind of behind the basket of the swing.
You got to take another shot at it. That one, yeah.
Okay.
That one comes back.
So,
making a bit of a curve in that fence would accommodate that tree. It's such a beautiful tree. It's worth saving, I think. But you can see that there aren't other trees to the right of that fence in his yard. But,
So the current property I'm asking for, the firm doesn't have deed for that tree, does the person, property owner on the left hand side, that's the fence back. And, I mean, did you all know that when you were out there? That's been on the property? Yeah. Okay. So was there, it looked like you were saying addition, or was there enough room for them just to do the fence off? Just raise up some.
That's what David said, they could just turn the fence around it, that one. Right.
because there are other people who've done similar things to accommodate a tree. I saw one recently in Pines at Gehagen, where they had made a change in the straight line of the fence.
Or you can raise it up a little shorter. With the root system.
There are a lot of ways. I would like to reject.
Make a motion.
I move that we not allow this tree to be removed, but make recommendations for ways that they could change the fence and in whatever way, whether it's shorter from the bottom or an indentation, or whatever, to accommodate the tree.
Okay,
Second.
second, more discussion. All in favor of the motion, say aye.
Aye.
Might want to find out what he's doing with red pears. Even though he'd already done some work on them as to severe pruning.
Those and the others.
Yeah.
Yeah. The invasive.
Mm.
Okay, that's. All right, so we've come to the last one. Thank you for your patience. 100 Paladin Drive, removal of one oak tree.
This is the hard one.
This is hard.
I planted that tree 35 years ago and I shouldn't have.
Yeah, we all have stories.
Well,
It's not got it's not gonna be trouble, like.
well, 35 years ago, that was a clay pit for Salisbury brick. So I bought the property and it had one tree in it and we tried to keep it. It finally died. But I went back in and I planted over 200 trees in the park. And most of them are pear trees, crepe myrtles, holly trees. And we had a few dogwood trees, but for the soil, it just didn't do good there, But we've got this one tree here that I guess you went and looked at it. And y'all have looked at it. Yeah, it's just got out of proportion with everything that's there. And I've had to tear up the street one time, cost me about $3,000-4,000 to go in there and repair the street. And now it's got to the point that it's doing it again. And also, I got a picture here of the Man's Foundation. Oh, you got. I didn't even mean to do this, did I?
Did he detect anything structurally going on inside before raising up or anything like that?
That's a mobile home, but it's just tearing his foundation up.
The
But,
brick circle?
eventually, those roots, if they keep going under, will get to the piers. Under it's about 4 feet further in under the front of the house. But it causes a continual, the biggest thing is it blocks any light that he has. All the windows on the front of that house is really his only light source. And on the end, and the tree just canopies it all. And on the backside where his windows are, he has a carport and a screen room. And so he really doesn't have any light for in the house. But the biggest problem is the streets and the limbs with the garbage trucks and the trash trucks, and even some of the moving vans cannot go down that street. But I mean,
All traffic control.
yeah, but it just kind of looks out of place in there now. It's just so massive that nothing else in there, is the same type of exposure there. It's probably going to cost me $3,000-4,000 to take that tree down.
Yeah.
but it's cheaper than having to redo the streets every 2 or 3 years. Fix the man's foundation. I, like I say, I'm the last one that wants to take trees down, but I took that 12 or 13 acres there that only had one tree in it, and there's over 200 trees in there now. So I've certainly improved the property over the years. And if y'all been there, you realize it's not your typical mobile home park at all. You know, it's really probably the nicest one in Somerville. And we have a good clientele there. A lot of the elderly people, probably half the people in there are retired, but we don't allow any metal skirting or anything like that inside. Everything has to be bricked up. It looks more like a subdivision. I just,
So that's not a veneer, that's actually brick.
it's brick, yeah.
Just everything is brick up.
Yeah. All the steps are brick, the houses are brick. We did basically the same thing that Jensen did in Southern Homes. I don't know where they're over on Miles Road. They have a retirement village over there. We have about 80 homes in there. And we're real proud of it. But this thing's kind of just got out of hand, you know. And if we can take it down, I'll plant another tree back in there that won't have, those roots are just good around.
It was soft.
Yeah, I mean, you can't even walk in the front yard for those, you know, if somebody was elderly and trying to walk in their front yard, it's just no way. It's just taking over the whole front yard. So I'm pleading to let me spend $4,000 and take care of the problem.
This is a tough one.
Yeah, we talked about how, you know, Bill had said something about how you can root prune. And if, you know, they talk about the possibility of the roots going underneath and hitting pillars, that if you root prune at that spot, or that it would prevent a problem.
Yeah.
And you'd be far enough away that you could do that root pruning, which would be good.
Well, I
But
know
we
when
couldn't
they-
see, we couldn't see anything
Yeah.
like that where we were.
Well, when we repoured the road about 2 years ago, when they had to go in there and they took the dozer and cut it all out, the roots, they cut off the roots where the street was, but now they're just growing back again, you know, so you cut them off. Yeah, yeah.
There are ways.
To the point, you know, if you'd have done that when you planted this thing 30 years ago, you wouldn't have this problem. You wouldn't even need it. Yeah,
I've got, yeah, like I say, probably by the time I'm done with this, I'll have $10,000 in that tree.
I'm not sure if we putting forward the building is feasible in the size of the roots.
I think this tree is too big.
Even underneath.
I think Peter's saying is applicable to this.
Through itself.
Got itself in trouble.
Is what Peter said.
We're trying.
And all the roads are yours, right?
Yeah,
Nothing's
yeah.
down in Somerville, that's all you maintain everything.
Yeah,
right?
well, all the sewer and the water's on Commissioner of Public Works, but the streets I have to maintain. I know the homeowner would appreciate that lives there, being able to get some light in his house. And
He's gonna miss all that good shade. He's gonna miss.
well, he's got a tree at the very end there, and he's got 3 more planted on the other end. So like I say, and I have no problem with planting a nice sized tree there that wouldn't have the root system that comes with an oak tree. But the problem is all the leaves are on his roof all the time, and it stains on the front of the soffit and the fascia board all the time. Please.
So, just to clarify, you are the property owner, but the home is owned by somebody else.
They lease the
They
property.
lease
from-
the property.
yeah.
Okay. I hate to do this, but I make a motion that we permit the removal of this tree.
I'll second it.
Me too.
Yeah, based on the fact that the bar pit, you planted over 200 trees on it. It's just,
That counts.
it's a tree that's grown
Thank you.
itself into a bad place.
Yeah, it really has.
It hurts us to say that.
And it hurts me to agree with her.
And so there's no other discussion on it. So, all in favor of the motion, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries. It's approved.
Thank you
It
very
was
much.
worth waiting for them.
Oh, yeah, yeah. Well, I appreciate y'all consideration on it. Now I just have to go spend some money, take it down. All right.
All right,
Well, thank you for your time.
Good luck. Thank you.
Oh, hold on. Did I get a permit? You'll get an email to you.
Oh, you will?
Yep.
Okay. All right. Thanks a lot.
Day or so.
Okay.
During this one, I did want to ask one question before it goes back to the gumball stuff, the reading the words about, hazards to public and stuff. Would we consider something different, or walkway, or driveways, coming out in the middle of the night, or gumball versus we've had one in the past where actually gumballs in the backyard where you don't want to traverse in the middle of the night. Is that something we would think would be in line with the ordinance as far as public safety? This is discussion. We've raised the point on it. But I'm sure we'll have, we've had them over the years, and we'll continue to have more of these type of discussions.
Every consideration is, always a one-on-one. It's hard to have a rule that would cover everything.
And I'm not actually asking, what I'm asking is what your opinion is, the difference between ones we've had in the past where again, they're falling in the backyard, you can rake it, you can clean it up, versus someone who actually has, slope on the driveway, they come out in the middle of the night, and maybe they've done something over the weekend, but that night, Monday morning, going to work or something, it's dark. Is that something that we would want to consider? Or is that still just something that's probably we just have to keep in mind, we have to pay attention to it? Yeah, I'm not asking for it.
Gumballs fall into the script, we don't know.
But I think your point about the root system, raising it up, putting pavers on top of it, is a good one, so that's an option for something like that. Anyway, I just don't think that's gonna be the last time we have this discussion. It's not the first time. It's something to consider.
But think about,
Anything else?
don't have an answer.
I move that we
Adjourn.
adjourn. All in favor, say aye.
Aye. Second,
Second, count the ayes. All opposed? Motion carries.
thank you.
Thank y'all.